So after adding the web service reference to our project, we see there is one more folder created which contains generated source files. So this is the package name that we specified, and now we are able to see that it has a proxy class created for our calculator web service, which has all the methods that web service exposes. There is another class calculator service web service underscore service, which contains some references to the URLs. So these are the classes that are generated. Now what we are going to do is we are going to create a UI application which will consume all these web services. So let's go ahead and add a new JFrame form because we want to create a UI. So let's call it calculator GUI, and let's put it in a namespace of in dot being 0 dot web service client. So we wanted to give the same namespace as our client files are given. So let me see if they are under the same namespace, web service client, and the file that we have just now added, web service client. So both these namespaces are same. So let's go ahead and put two text boxes on our form. So let me drag text field. So this text field would be to represent the first number. Let's take another text field to take number 2. So once we have two numbers, what we are going to do is we'll have certain buttons. Buttons will represent the actions that we want to perform. So 4 actions we have: plus, minus, multiply and divide. So let me drag 4 buttons here, and then we want to ultimately show the results back into a results text box. So this is a simple calculator that we are going to build, which will be consuming the web service that we have written in the backend. So okay, a few labels also, if we drag, it will become easy to understand what each field stands for. Yeah. So now let's give some meaningful names to the variables. So first one, right click, say change variable name. So because this is a text box, let me give it txt num1. Second text field, let me give a name, variable name, txt num2. And let's clear the text also. Edit text, and we can delete the text that is already there. Edit text because we want them to be clear. Edit text in result also we want to have it clear. One thing is, because we will be testing our application and every time we'll have to input numbers, so let me put some default values here. In text 1 we are putting 8, text 2 we are putting 4, so that every time when we run our project we don't have to supply these values again. Let me edit text for label and call it num1. Second label, let's call num2, and last one, let's call it result. Okay, so all the labels have been given their name. Let's change the text on the buttons. First let me make add. Second one, we right click, say edit, subtract. Third one we say multiply. Fourth one we can say division. Now let's rename the buttons variable name also. btn add. Second one let's call btn subtract. Third one let's call it btn multiply. Fourth one we'll call it btn divide. And the text field that is going to have results, let's change the variable name of that also, txt result. The reason we have renamed all these variables is because we will be accessing them programmatically. So once we are going to write code for addition, we would need to differentiate where is the number 1, where is the number 2. So this will make it more easier for us to read code. Labels we are not renaming because we will never be accessing labels programmatically in the backend. So for now, this is the UI. Let me run it to show you quickly. Okay, says select the main class. Our UI is the main class, so let's proceed. So our calculator is being shown, but right now since we haven't written the logic behind these button clicks, so it's not working. Another thing if we want to add is we can add a title here, because this window doesn't have a title. So let's add that also quickly. The way to add title would be select this GUI. Here right side we see some properties. There we can say calculator app. So now if we run it again, what we are going to see is the UI will have a title calculator app. So in next step, what we are going to do, we are going to add logic for add button, which will pick these two numbers, make the web service call, get the results back and display the results here.